This is a screenshot from the Mark Bell film. Before we look at the film itself, I just want to point out something. So, like Jace, I had believed that there had been a train crossing over at the time of the shooting, but having revisited some images and been unable to see anything that shows a train going over, I'm going to revise my view on that. And I will put down the belief that there was a train to an optical illusion. So this is the Triple Overpass, and you can just make out the front wall here, the near side wall, and the Kennedy limousine is just going under the Triple Underpass. You can see just the silhouette of the lead car. And there are 3 motorcyclists beyond the Triple Overpass. And you can also make out the far side wall of the Triple Overpass. And then there are people leaning against the near side wall. If there'd been a train there, you wouldn't see that far side wall. Although I guess it could have just passed, or it could just be about to arrive. But I thought I had seen the full length of a train passing over. If somebody can show me something to show that I was originally right, then I will stand corrected. But and especially all the doctoring of these images that's been going on, it's entirely possible. So why did I possibly, or what's a possible reason for believing a train had gone over? Well, if you look in the background here, you can see some silhouettes of what are moving vehicles, and this is the Stemmons Highway that goes beyond it. That is beyond the Triple Overpass. In between, you have some buildings. This, I don't know, is that a cement works or something? I don't know what that is. And then beyond that, you have the Stemmons Highway with the vehicles moving along it. Some of these buildings are quite high, so they would block the view of the moving vehicles. So you kind of have these vehicles flitting in and out between the buildings, and 1 or 2 over the tops of the lower buildings. So let's have a look at the Mark Bell film to show that. I'll rerun it a couple of times, and you will see what we thought, some of us thought, was a train moving along, actually being some vehicles moving along the Stemmons Highway. So look, you can just see here. Watch it again. Let's just go back. And one more time, just watch it one more time. Okay, and then the Bell film goes back to Dealey Plaza. So let's just move on a little bit more. Okay, and so the next thing I wanted to point out was this is Abraham Zapruder, I guess, and his secretary, Miss, is it Marjorie Sitzman. You can see here the Newmans are still prostrated on the grass. So the shooting's obviously just taking place. They got their kids with them. They're obviously very worried about the safety of their kids. But Mr. Zapruder and his secretary don't seem that worried. And remember, while the shooting was going on, they had just stood up. They hadn't flinched. They hadn't sought cover. They just continued as they had been before the shooting started. So here is Mr. Zapruder and Ms. Sitzman. It looks like they're returning to the office. So the President of the United States has just been shot. I think Mr. Zapruder stated that he felt a shot had come from over his shoulder. And what does he do? Oh, it's time to go back to the office. Lunchtime is over. So let's just have a look at that. And then, for some reason or other, Miss Sitzman, decides she wants to go under the pergola, and Mr. Zapruder seems to want to go straight on for whatever reason. I don't know. Here you can see a couple of other people. I think they're still prostrated on the floor, but Mr. Zapruder and Miss Sitzman, they're making a short, sharp exit. And again, here's Babushka lady. She's not lying on the ground. Again, she's just stood upright, not concerned about her safety at all. And of course, then people start moving towards the grassy knoll, as the majority of statements said. They believed, or many of these, I guess, believed that shots had come from the grassy knoll, and that's why they're hurrying up there. Some have gone up to where apparently there was a sewer up the bank there, or maybe they're going to the railway track beyond that. So all these people, they're curious about what's gone on behind the picket fence there. They've come from the other side of Elm Street or even further. And yet, Mr. Zapruder was just stood here. He wasn't curious at all. He just made a beeline for his office. And would be selling his film in no time at all for a nice little earner. So why wasn't he curious about what had gone on like all these people, particularly as he'd been very near to where these people think the shots came from?